So you're dreaming of opening a bar in paradise, right? The sun, the beach, the whole vibe. But that dream can turn into a total nightmare, and I mean fast. Here in Thailand, just one missing piece of paper is all it takes to go from serving drinks to seeing flashing lights outside your front door. So let's get into it. Let's explore the hidden world of compliance and figure out what it actually takes to keep your dream alive.
And listen, this isn't just some dramatic headline we pulled from a newspaper. This quote, it describes a brutal, vicious cycle that just swallows businesses whole. You get a raid, you get shut down, you desperately reopen, but you never fix the real problem. It's a costly loop that absolutely destroys your reputation. And it all starts with one single, seemingly small mistake.
And this is the thing you have to wrap your head around. It's not about having most of your permits in order. The system here is black and white. You are either 100% compliant or you are a target. That's it. One overlooked license, one forgotten renewal. That is all the reason the authorities need to put a padlock on your doors. There's just no middle ground.
All right, so what's the real cost to do this the right way? Before you even start thinking about rent or renovations or stocking that top shelf, let's just talk about the price of being legal. The cost of all the paperwork might make you wince a little, but believe me, the cost of ignoring it is so much worse.
Okay, take a good look at that number. 50,000 to 200,000 Thai baht. Let that sink in for a second. That's what you need to budget for licenses and permits alone. This isn't for fancy bar stools or a cool sound system. This is literally the price of admission to operate legally. And this is the number that trips up so many new owners before they've even poured a single drink.
Let me make this painfully real for you. Let's talk about Alex. And look, this is a story based on dozens of real-life cases. He put everything he had into his dream bar. For 1 month, it was amazing. Business was booming. But then, month 2, the district officers show up. Where's your entertainment license? They gave him a warning. He thought he had time, didn't act fast enough. A month later, they came back. Doors padlocked for 30 days. The total hit to his business, over 250,000 baht just gone.
Alex's story is a tough one, for sure, but it absolutely doesn't have to be yours. To avoid that same fate, you don't need luck. What you need is a map. So think of this next section as your personal guide through what is basically a regulatory minefield. These are the non-negotiable permits you have to get.
Now, here's what's so interesting about this. These permits, they're like a house of cards. You don't have company registration? Well, you can't get any of the other licenses. Simple as that. But I want you to zero in on that entertainment license. That is the #1 trigger for raids. It is what the police are actively looking for every single night. And what about things like a fire safety certificate? That's not just a fine. That's an immediate, indefinite shutdown until you fix it.
And this is where it gets wild. These are the little details that can totally sink you. The official government fee for your alcohol license, it's a measly 110 baht. But the agency fees you have to pay to actually get it, we're talking thousands. And yeah, you were reading that correctly. Playing a Spotify playlist in your bar without a specific music copyright license is illegal. Even that awesome neon sign you had designed, they can literally force you to tear it down if it doesn't have its own separate permit. It's crazy. Okay, you see the risks, you see all the little traps, so let's switch gears and talk about the solution. This isn't about being scared, it's about being smart and being prepared. We're going to build a fortress of compliance around your business using a pretty simple 5-step protection system.
If you follow this playbook, you are already safer than 99% of your competition. Step 1 is the absolute deal breaker. You have to verify the zoning before you even think about signing a lease. Because if that area isn't zoned for entertainment, you will never get that license. Step 3 is a real pro tip. Applying for everything all at once saves you weeks, maybe months of bureaucratic headaches. And step 4? It's not just good practice, it's the law, and it sends a clear signal to any inspector that you are a serious professional operation.
You know, who you hire to help you with this is just as critical as the permits themselves. Look, if an agent ever tells you that an entertainment license isn't really needed, that is a gigantic red flag. Just run. That one piece of bad advice is a guaranteed recipe for getting raided. A real pro, a green flag, will insist on doing a zoning check before they even take your money. They're protecting you from making a huge mistake right from the start.
So let's bring this all back to the bottom line. After seeing the whole process and all the risks, the picture starts to get pretty clear, doesn't it? That initial licensing cost, it's not an expense. It is the single best insurance policy you will ever buy for your business. Because the most expensive mistake isn't overpaying for a permit, it's failing to get one at all. And this chart just says it all. I mean, look at the numbers. Maybe 100,000 baht to get everything squared away from day one. Or you can roll the dice and face the cost of a single raid. We're talking lost revenue, legal fees, fines, which can easily top 500,000 baht. The math is simple, and it's pretty brutal. You either pay now or you risk paying 5 times more later on.
This quote, it's from a bar owner who barely survived a shutdown. It's just such a powerful reminder that your biggest threat, it's often not the slick new bar that opens up across the street. No, it's the document you forgot to file. It's the tiny detail in the fine print that can bring your entire dream crashing down around you.
So, it all comes down to this. As you're planning your big venture, you've got to look past the cool location and the fancy decor and ask yourself this one fundamental question. Because without a rock-solid day-one commitment to compliance, you're not actually buying a business. You're just buying a very expensive and very predictable problem.